Hello, it's Ren Presents time. I'm your host, Ren, and today we continue with the House of Bloodstein, Perlamum, Chapter 7. Had to look that up. Sam Sick. Now, I am recording this rather early. I just dropped Chapter 6 a few days ago. However, tomorrow we are headed into Ohio Amish country to pick up a new addition to our family. We have purchased a Boston Terrier puppy, and things are probably going to be a little chaotic around here for the next few weeks, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to do my usual recordings with all the hubbub and to-do, but we will see. I'm sure it's going to be an adjustment for everybody, our senior dachshund included. When we last left off, Sarah of Blanchford received a stern warning from her mother over the comm, informing her that a handsome gentleman had wanted to visit with her in the Firth house, which is the standard thing for Blanchfords to do when a prospective caller comes by. And Sarah, being Sarah, wanted nothing to do with it, but Lady Poe was having nothing to do with Sarah's attitude and forced her to go, which she did. She saw the guy, wasn't very interested. Sarah's really not interested in courting at this particular time. And that was that. And now they are ready to begin their trip to Wham. Let's not pussyfoot around here. Let's dig in, shall we? House of Bloodstein, Chapter 7, Sam Sick. 2 days later, the four of them mounted the trusty hot rod Goshawk parked in the back half of the grove and headed out for Wham, a trip of at least 7 days. Sarah, as usual, made certain they were properly supplied and not forgotten anything. That was an area she excelled in. Sam needed a literal pharmacopoeia of pills, vitamins, oils, syrups, salves, and other ingredients to stay healthy in space, as her system tended to shut down when away from Cana. All monomas had that problem. She had a vast traveler's trunk that had been designed by Clatera of Cardinal and his wife, Mitzelarin, friends of the family. The custom-made trunk had been presented to Sam as a wedding gift. It was shoulder-high, mounted on float casters. Her initials were embossed in handsome gold letters. Opening it up, there were a score of fold-out compartments where a host of pills and other essentials could be organized and stored for travel. It also had a palm sensor where she could check her temperature, heart rate, and other vital readings. Every time she opened up her trunk to toss back pills, drink fizzing tinctures, rub herself with ointments, and place drops in her eyes, it cost thousands of Blanchford haters. Also, no matter how many vitamins she took, all of her vast abilities vanished when away from Cana. She could no longer blink, teleport, predict the future, or transform herself. As Sarah has said, she was down to just running fast and breaking things when in space. It was a boring trip, with lots of sitting and playing games. The automated systems on the Goshawk did most of the work. And always, King sat on a convenient perch and watched over them. On the third day, everyone became rather worried about Sam. She was powering through her meds at more than double the standard rate. Much had become known about monoma issues when traveling abroad from Cana, and a standard regimen of vitamins and other supplements had been devised based on a person's age, weight, and sex. Sam was taking her medications as prescribed, but it didn't seem to be helping. She became listless and tired. Her skin tone faded to an unhealthy brackish color, and she was peeling dead skin and dry bands across her arms, legs, and face. Her vision was almost down to nothing. She had to take drops every few hours just to properly see. Her body ached. She couldn't sit, stand, or lay. Everything hurt. "What is wrong with Sam?" Sarah said, worried. "She's taking her meds, right? She should be just fine." Sam was asleep on the couch, covered with a warm blanket. Kay sat with her. "I think I know what it is." "What?" Kay took Sam's hand and spoke softly. "Sam is an Anuian, a greater monoma, very rare in these modern times. Most of our information regarding Monoma medical needs while in space is derived from studying the much more numerous Konoks, the lesser Monomas, like Lady Telerin and our friends, Clatera and Mitz from Cardinal. They're all Konoks, and they do just fine in space if they take their meds. The Konoks are not as strong as the Anuians, Philip said. That's true. However, while not being as big, strong, or fast as Sam, the Konoks appear to be hardier and less susceptible to the rigors of space travel than she is. I recall Mitz taking her shoes off and walking through the snow without her snugs after dinner one evening. She wanted to see what it felt like, and she actually managed it for a short period of time before having to put her medal back on. She lasted a lot longer than Sam would have. Sam has no tolerance for cold at all. Without her snugs, merely touching snow is enough to put her into shock. So that's my theory, anyway. Sam's been in space before, Sarah said. We all went to Onaris a few months ago. I don't remember anything happening during the trip. Yes, but those were short jogs into space. I think the farthest she's ever been out is to Hoban, and that was only a 2-day trip at most. This is the longest trip into space she's ever taken. He placed a loving hand on her shoulder. She coughed a little. Sarah ran her hand through her blue hair. Then we should turn around and get her home at once. I suppose you're right, Sarah, Kay said. I don't agree. I think we should press on and stop someplace nearby to give her a chance to put her feet on the ground and recover, Philip said. How did Sam do once she was on Onaris and Baz? Sarah asked. Kay thought back. Fine. You remember we were all there for a vacation. She didn't mention suffering at all. She took her medications and didn't appear to be in any sort of distress while on the ground. Then we need to press on with all speed, Philip said. Xandar is only a few hours away. I think we should go there now. Once we're on the ground, she can recoup a little, and we can restock on her supplies. She's going to need a lot more meds. Then we'll take her home. What do you think, Kay? Before Kay could answer, a voice spoke. Going back is not a wise thought. Why not? Philip asked. He looked around. Who just said that? Said what? Sarah asked. That! Somebody just said going back is not a wise thought. Who said that? I didn't say it, and I didn't see Kay's mouth moving. Did you say it, Sarah? No. They looked around. Sam was fast asleep on the couch. Sarah drew her Poltava. She turned to the front of the goshawk and sucked in her breath. Cockpit, she whispered. I think there might be somebody in the cockpit. Sarah, put that gun away. You want to kill us all, Philip hissed. He drew a Herdimer heat gun and readied it. The gun buzzed slightly. Let me do it, will you? He said. You'll blow out the cockpit glass and space us all. Philip moved away from the couch and headed forward, his Herdimer at the ready. Kay stayed at Sam's side. You two needn't be concerned. There's nobody here with us. I've already sighted the ship. Then where'd the voice come from? Sarah asked. King, Kay said. King? Sarah cried. King doesn't talk. I don't know what to tell you. He spoke plain as day. I sighted his beak moving. Sarah and Philip put their weapons away and went forward. King was sitting quietly on the throttles, fluffing his silver wings. Sarah was skeptical. Did you just talk, King? He sat there and said nothing. He looked at the floor, dour as always. Sarah scoffed and turned away. Ha! See, he didn't say anything. The voice came again. You shall need to stock up heavily on rosemary balm for the knee countess's skin, and saline drops for her eyes. A revised retinue of vitamins, tinctures, and other medications will serve to support the knee countess better. However, she cannot tarry for much longer than a week in space, regardless of her regimen. Sarah whipped back around. The voice definitely seemed to have come from King's direction, but again the little bird, while under eyeshot, sat silent. Did you guys see him speaking? Sarah asked. No, Philip said. I had turned away. I saw him, Kay said. How's he doing that? Sarah asked. All King familiars are a little different since they take on a bit of the personality of the people he's around, Philip said. Perhaps talking, albeit in a shy manner, is that aspect manifesting itself. Sarah turned and pointed at King. Well, if you're going to talk, buddy, then talk. Don't be shy. Out with it. King sat there and did nothing. As they returned to Sam's side, they heard a voice say, Go to Xandar. The items the Countess needs are available on Xandar. Sam became delirious and thrashed on the couch, clearly uncomfortable. "You're gonna be fine, darling, I promise," Kay said, trying to comfort her. "I can't see. My eyes hurt, my body aches, and I feel so sick. Why am I feeling this way? I'm taking my medications." "We're gonna stop soon and get you more medications. Then we're taking you home, Sam." She licked her dry lips, and Kay got a glass of water and helped her drink it down. "But the quest! Lady Chrysania's pieces!" Kay shook his head. No. The quest is over for us. Once we're home, Sarah and Philip shall continue on after them." Sam tried to sit up. No, they'll need my help. They'll need me, Kay. I need you healthy and safe, Sam. That's what I need." Quickly, Kay got Sam's weakness bung and put it around her neck. Her strength was instantly reduced, making her more manageable, though she was still a handful. Sam looked around, trying to see out of the cockpit glass. "Where are we headed?" "We're headed to Xandar. It's nearby. We can see the king and queen and get what we need," Sarah said happily. "It'll be fun. And it's so warm down there you'll be able to take off your Snugs medallion and enjoy the sun." No, I don't want to stop on Xandar," Sam said, becoming agitated. "May we stop on Baz instead? There's a lovely apothecary Kay and I know." "Baz is too far out of the way from our current position, Sam," Philip said from the cockpit. "What's wrong with Xandar?" Sarah asked. "Number 6, came King's sullen voice. "Number 6 is on Xandar." "Oh," Sarah finally said. "Sam, I thought you were over that." Sam hacked in indignation. "Over it? Perhaps someday when you fall in love, you'll understand. That woman has no proper couth and, quite frankly, is playing with deadly fire. She has no respect for myself, Kay, or our marriage. If I'm being honest, she's lucky I haven't torn her in two by this point. She has provoked me into an utter killing rage on several occasions, and I pride myself on maintaining a charitable persona at all times." "Well, Sam, I mean you're strong and fast and all, but number 6 is an ex-Black Hat with full Silver Tech power. I think she's got you trumped a little bit," Sarah said. "Especially away from Cana, when all you can do is run fast and break things." Sam again tried to get up from the couch, and Kay held her back as best he could. "Yes, well, we'll see about that," Sam said. "Therefore, unless you people want to witness a nice show, let's go to Baz and get the things I need." Sam thrashed about while Philip and Kay struggled to hold her down. "I hate that woman. I'm sorry. I shouldn't hate anybody." Sam's eyes flared, seeing nothing. "But I so hate her. I hate her." "Baz is too far out of the way, Sam," Kay said, taking a pummeling. Sam lay back as the medication started taking effect. "Why don't we do this?" Sarah said. "Just hear me out. We'll have Kay cloak us. We'll land unobserved in some elder-down region of the planet. Philip and I will then go into town, get the supplies, and leave. That's it. We won't run into number 6 at all. Promise. We'd love to see the king and queen. It's been so long since we visited them. But for you, we'll take a rain check until next time." "You must land on Xandar Prime. That is where the required supplies may be found," King said, again unobserved. "I agree with King. We can't just land anywhere," Kay said. "They've got to have what Sam needs, which will require a fairly well-provisioned pharmacy. And that means a larger city. Still, if we land under cloak and hurry in and out, we shan't be spotted." Sam stirred. "That woman has a knack for turning up. Should she appear, I cannot promise I won't challenge her to a fight to the death right there and then." Kay jumped in. "I'm sure we won't run into number 6, Sam. It's a big planet after all, and she's probably off-world gallivanting somewhere with all her friends. I'll make sure we're good and cloaked. Then Sarah and Philip will get what we need." "Someone is looking for us," King added. "What was that?" Sarah asked, looking back. King sat on his perch and said nothing. And with that, we conclude House of Bloodstein Chapter 7, Sam Sick. So, a little information in case you're confused. Sam is a monoma. She's basically an alien species. Monomas are indigenous to Cana, while Kay's people and Sarah's people and Philip's, the elders, the elder kind, are transplants to Cana. They came from across the cosmos only fairly recently, just a couple of thousand years ago. And when they arrived at Cana, it was mostly barren except for the Monoма peoples to the south. And Sam is a Monoma. There are two kinds of Monomas. There are the Konaks, which comprise probably 99% of the Monoma population, probably even higher than that. They are very small compared to elders. They're not dwarves, but they're usually around, very thin and short, or usually around 5'3", 5'4", somewhere in that. A tall one would be like 5'5". Very small, very slender and thin, incredibly strong and fast. Even though they're much smaller than elders, they are much stronger. Very taciturn, the Konaks, and they even speak a different language. They speak Konaks. Now, in the old days, there was the much larger, much stronger, much more fierce Inuian Monomas, and they're big. They can, get well past 6 feet. Sam herself is a 6-footer. Much heavier, much stronger, much faster, much more warlike than the Konaks. They even speak a different language of Anui, which is Sam's language. And they used to be in great numbers. However, they were wiped out by the golden people serving the horn god. That's a whole nother story. Suffice it to say, the Inuians, like Sam, only rarely show up in Konak's bloodlines. So, Sam was born amongst Konak's parents, but every so often, one of them has the Inuian traits, and it's a big deal. And it was considered Sam's civic duty to have more children with Monoma men so that more Inuians might be born, but she didn't choose that route. But even though they're stronger and faster and meaner than the Konaks, the Inuians are not as hardy as the Konaks. The Konaks can handle rigors more than the Inuians can. They can handle cold. It's still fatal to a Konaks Monoma, but they can take it for a bit longer than an Inuian can. Without her medallion, if Sam just touches snow, she goes into shock. Also, Monomas, both for the Konaks and the Inuians, are very related to Cana. That is their home planet. That's where they came from. And if you take them away from Cana, they lose almost all of the mystical abilities that they have. The ability to teleport, change shape, predict the future. All of these things, they lose. They can't do any of it. And they begin to get sick when they're in space, when they're away from Cana. Now, it was discovered that with a strict regimen of vitamins, minerals, and other potions and salves, the Konaks Monomas can be revitalized a little bit and can stay in space as long as they want, as long as they take their meds. The Inuians, though, like Sam, they can't handle it. They will, even taking meds, they will sicken and die. If they're in space for much longer than a few days, they will get sick. The old Remnath hero Atrajak of Want had a whole army of Inuian Monomas that he took on a long quest in an elder ship. As they proceeded on their quest, all of the Inuians died in a very short. So he was eventually the only person left on the ship. And when he got back to Cana, he was nuts. So, and that's what we see with Sam, is just her Inuian blood talking. It's just she just can't handle it. If she's on the ground, if she's on a planet, it can be a alien planet, like they're headed to Xandar, that she'll be okay just taking a revised retinue of meds, and she can handle that. But she still loses all of her abilities. She has to be on Cana to take advantage of all those things. Now, Sam has a problem with Xandar because number 6 is on Xandar, and number 6 is, her full name is Domino of Holly. She is a member of the Xandar 44. So back in Book 2, Carahil, he rescued 44 Black Hats from an intense battle with the sisters on Xandar. And the 44 he saved, he freed from the Black Abyss's clutches. And the king of Xandar took them in, and they became known as the Xandar 44. It became a very close-knit sisterhood. They received kindness and protection on Xandar, and they became advocates of Xandar. When Xandar joined the League, a lot of Zaffin activity occurred on Xandar to thwart them, to get them back into the Zaffin Armada, and the Xandar 44 were instrumental in protecting Xandar during that time. They're very flamboyant, very undressed ladies, because Xandar is hot, and they don't wear a whole lot of clothes on Xandar. That's just the way they are. Domino of Holly often came to the Grove to worship and she would come to the Grove to worship, and after the Temple of the Exploding Head, Sam was dead in her tomb, and Kay was grieving. Domino of Holly had met him once or twice and saw him and started a casual flirtation with him. Didn't really mean for it to go anywhere, but after a while, Kay in his grief accepted Domino of Holly, and they made love on Sam's tomb, of all things, while she was dead. Countess Sigillis greatly favored Domino of Holly and groomed her to be a replacement for Sam. In fact, she had made full plans to move in to Castle Blanchford. She even sent all of her clothes, what little of them there are, in a trunk. But then Sam is brought back to life, and it's like nothing happened, and Kay forgot Domino of Holly, number 6, and went right back to Sam. And she didn't appreciate it much. And she was always, on the outskirts, and she would, when Sam found out about this relationship that Kay had had while she was dead, it wasn't like she was on vacation or anything, she was dead. She didn't take it well, and she found number 6's trunk full of clothes, and she shredded them and sent them back to her in tatters. And number 6 loves to goad Sam on. Nobody's perfect, and Sam has a pretty distinct jealous streak and has, oftentimes wanted to kill number 6. That's not normally how Sam acts. Sam is normally a very reserved and gracious lady, but with number 6, she has no cap on her anger. But number 6 is a full black hat. As Sarah said, probably trumps Sam in terms of raw power. But number 6 is on Xandar, and that's why Sam didn't want to go. She wanted to go to Baz instead, but Baz is too far away. So, next week we continue Chapter 8 in our little saga, which is known as Number 6. So even though they think they're going to be avoiding number 6, since the chapter is called Number 6, that's probably not going to happen. So that's next week. Maybe, depending on how much chaos the puppy has introduced into our home. I'm sure it won't be that bad. I got her little playpen set up right here. In any event, this is Ren Presents. I'm your host, Ren. Peace out.